Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here, and these are the top 7 best Hearthstone decks after the Priest and Gibberling Druid nerfs. So first of all, how did the nerfs affect the meta? Obviously, Priest and Gibberling Druid are both weaker now than they used to be, but there are still lists that are at or above 50% for both of them. The current top Priest decks seem to be using Zetek and the Yoink package, with Cabal Acolyte, Wave of Apathy, and some of them are even using Yogg-Saron as their top end. Whereas the Gibberling Druids, some of them are doing the same thing as before, and then there are also various innovations with spell-based Druid decks. There are spell Druid decks that are cutting Gibberling but keeping Glowfly Swarm, then there are some Lady Anaconda-based decks with Glowfly Swarm Arbor up. How good those will turn out to be is yet uncertain, but right now it doesn't look like they're absolutely top tier, maybe tier 2 decks at best. Of the established archetypes, Rush Warrior, Face Hunter, and Primordial Druid benefited the most from the nerfs, because they had weaknesses in those matchups, and Primordial Druid is looking really interesting. If I were an adventurous type, I would take Primordial Druid to the ladder right now, because there are some opportunities to surprise people with that, although looking at overall win rates it's not a top 3 deck. So that was a little recap on the overall effects of the nerfs, and then let's look at the decks. Coming in at number 7 is Aggro Shaman. No reason to make any changes to the list, the same list that has been good for weeks is still good. It's aggressive, it kills people really quickly. One of its good sides was that it was able to kill Priest before Priest was able to stabilize, but now that there are fewer Priests on the ladder, that upside doesn't really help that much. But you can still blow out people with this deck and with your Doomhammer. At number 6 we have that Primordial Druid. And it is still uncertain what will be the overall capability of Primordial Druid, what's going to be the final deck list. This list, for example, makes use of Cenarion Wards. In an attempt to defend a little bit better against pure aggression. It's still bad against pure aggression, but maybe a little less bad. There's one copy of Teacher's Pet in this list. Teacher's Pet is the highest performing beast in the list, so why is there a Moonfang, or why isn't there 2 copies of Teacher's Pet? You can ask these sorts of questions, the answers to which of course would require extensive testing. Overall, Primordial Druid is strong against many of the top tier decks at the moment, and even though it has clear weaknesses, Token Druid is still favored against Primordial Druid even after the nerf, and then like Face Hunter just kills it. But it's definitely more of a contender now than it was before the Gibberling version got nerfed. Coming in at number 5 is Deathrattle Demon Hunter. Why only number 5? Well, none of these are bad decks. Deathrattle Demon Hunter is perfectly capable, it's a great deck. It's just that the rise in numbers of Primordial Druids is a little bit tough for Deathrattle Demon Hunter because it's not particularly good in that matchup. But also fewer Priests around, and it was good against Priests, so it's now facing a lot more 50-50 matchups than it's facing these favored matchups. Number 4 is the ever-reliable Face Hunter. Face Hunter just refuses to die, it's a very straightforward deck, it kills people, kills Primordial Druids before they stabilize, it can kill Shamans before they stabilize, it can even kill Deathrattle Demon Hunters before they stabilize. And its main weaknesses are Rush Warrior and any sort of Demon Hunter decks that have significant lifesteal component to them. Lifesteal Demon Hunter, but also various types of hybrid Demon Hunter decks. Still, Face Hunter is good, it's strong, it's very fast. So just looking at how long do you spend in a single game, Face Hunter might even be one of the best choices to climb with. Because more games, lower win rate is needed. Coming in at number 3 is this sort of hybrid weapon-based Demon Hunter. It uses most of the Deathrattle Demon Hunter shell, but then it has Aldrachi Warblades, Ilginot, Relentless Pursuit, that ability to get a healing weapon, buff it up, then use it either to heal or to deal damage. And whereas before the Priest nerf, the spell variant of this hybrid version was better than the weapon variant, now it looks like the weapon variant because it's slightly better at healing against the likes of Face Hunters, for example. It has been able to gain better statistics for the time being, but I'm not sure if that's going to last, because the rise of this deck has a lot to do with the rise of aggressive decks. This can counter those aggressive decks while still applying pressure to slower decks. But if those very aggressive decks become less popular, if decks like Primordial Druid become much more popular, then a regular Deathrattle Demon Hunter might overtake this again. The second best deck in the game right now is Rush Warrior. Rush Warrior is simply strong. Strong against Shamans, strong against Rogues, strong against Hunters. It's weak against Priest, well, there are fewer Priests around, so that was its main weakness. Things are looking pretty good for the archetype, although the rise of Primordial Druid does mean some problems for this archetype as well. As you can see, Primordial Druid can cause problems for multiple of these top tier decks, and how many Primordial Druids will there be on the ladder? How will aggro decks rise in answer to that? How will that affect the overall balance between these mid-range decks? Druid deck, Aggro decks. It's still a little early to tell, and it would be interesting to see what happens if this meta was able to mature a little bit, but we have the new expansion coming in a couple of weeks, so this meta will not be able to fully mature. Be that as it may, the current number 1 deck is Elemental Shaman. Elemental Shaman is just strong. It has only one real weakness, which is Rush Warrior, then it has some really favorable matchups, like against Aggro Shamans, Paladins, Mages, and everything else is like 51-52% in favor of Elemental Shaman. It's just a very strong deck across the board, and that's its main strength. You're never going into a game and thinking that, hey, I'm going to lose because this is a bad matchup for me. With Elemental Shaman, you always have a chance. These are the current best Hearthstone meta decks. Take any of them on the ladder, you're going to have a good chance to succeed, and I wish you all good luck. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Twitch channel.